Oh my goodness, the Pulga is very full today. This is the outdoor flea market, and I just need some carrots and some tomatoes. But first, I have to find a parking place. Oh my gosh, the dirt is blowing and it's really just not a nice day to be out. But this is where I can get my best deals, so I'm going to go in and try to find some. They have strawberries for only $1, but you really have to look them over because by the time they've sat out in this heat for a while, some of them are moldy. I'm not even sure what a few of these things are. They're interesting to look at, but I wouldn't know how to cook them. And this is what I got for $2, which is why I go to the flea market. Hi, I'm Bonita and I am early retired. I'm not old enough yet for Social Security. I'm living on a low income and I am living off of savings. And right now I'm spending the winter in my RV in the Rio Grande Valley in South Texas. I normally live in Kansas. I have frugal videos all year round, and I hope that you will join me this year in 2025 as we share ways to save money and live our dreams. The flea market prices down here in South Texas are really good. They are not good like this in Kansas. In fact, you would be spending several dollars, probably per pound, for some of the items that I picked up. And I just can't afford to do that. So down here, I try to shop the farmer's market and then I try to pick up extra things as I need them at either HEB or Walmart. They're mainly the only two grocery stores down here. But prices are crazy. And I am so glad that I brought as much food with me as I did because I've had to purchase very little, thank goodness, because the prices are just starting to price me right out of the ball game. And I know some of you are feeling the same way. So the next stop I made was HEB, and it doesn't matter what time or what day you go to the grocery store, it is hard to park and the stores are packed. Sunday at 8 a.m. is the only time I have found that is a good time to go. And honestly, I'm not usually around that early. I had a few things on my list. One of them was canned cat food for Fluff. He's having some teeth problems again, and our vet at home was nice enough to give him an antibiotic, and my husband mailed it to me, and I gave him his medicine so he will be ready to see the vet when I get home. But I also wanted some orange juice for my smoothies. And the orange juice prices have jumped significantly just since the last time I showed you that I bought like a quart while I was down here. The prices are so high, and I looked at so many different types. Let's take a look at all the options and see if any of these would have been something you would have gone for. Even the off-brand was between 7 to 9 cents an ounce, which I think is high. Then I did something I normally don't do, and I checked out some shelf-stable options. This one was dirt cheap, but the ingredients was nothing natural and a bunch of dyes and weird stuff. Then I checked the bottled shelf stable orange juice. The ingredients looked better, but the prices were not a lot better. And for me, I think this stuff has a weird taste. Then I found these really affordable nectars that had better ingredients and were really cheap, but they didn't have orange. And of course, I had to step over to the frozen section because that's the type of orange juice I grew up with, and that's the type that I was buying. But even those prices have gone up. I've never seen one of these large frozen orange juices, but it was not a better buy. The better buy ended up being the smaller one, but I have no way to make that here in the camper and keep it in my fridge. I thought some potato salad sounded good, but not for $3.47 a pound. I always check out the clearance section when I go into the store, but it just had a bunch of weird stuff that I would not use. Eggs are starting to go down, but they're still too high. Ground turkey was still a good deal at less than $2 a pound. I just wish that we liked it better. I can do ground pork and ground chicken. These beef patties look like they would be a good deal, under $6 for 2.5 pounds until you read the ingredients: beef hearts and soy. Ooh, and then let's look at these pre-made cornbreads. 4.48 for this little tray and over $8 for a bigger tray, when these ones on the shelf are all less than $1 that you make yourself. And then $4 for a pre-made piece of cake. So as I'm sitting here eating my delicious stir fry, I don't want you to think there's not good deals out there to be had. There are good deals to be had, and there are better choices than other choices to help us conserve our shopping money. But it is harder to shop now than it has ever been. There are so many expensive things, and many of the things that we used to just reach for, we have to think twice before putting that in our cart, and we have to think, is there something else I can substitute instead? Is there something else that's cheaper, that's still a good product? Are there some other recipes I can switch to that will save my family money? So we really have to shop slow. And that's my best advice. I shop slow anymore. I really examine things. I calculate it. I make sure that it's a good deal and that there's not another good deal. I take my time. I used to just run in and shop and get things from my list. And I think a lot of busy moms and dads may still do that. But to be able to make our dollar stretch as well as we can, we really have to slow down that shopping and take a look for better deals or better choices or other things that maybe we didn't purchase before and other recipes we didn't make before to make our dollar last the month for our groceries. So, what did I end up leaving HEB with? This was it: cat food. That's all I bought. I still have food in the camper. I still have things I can throw together like this stir fry. And I'm not going to spend my money on things that I think are too expensive when I still have other choices in my RV to cook with. So that's how I shop these days. I find a good deal or I walk out without a good deal. My next stop that I'm taking you all to is Dollar General. They still have a great dollar aisle. They still have a lot of vegetables that are name brand that are $1, less expensive than Dollar Tree choices. But be sure and check your grocery store because a lot of times they have the off brand vegetables for less than $1. At first glance, this looks like a great deal. Wheat thins, 2 for $4, until you see the boxes are only 5.75 ounces now. And the clearance section was not what I call clearance. Men's Dove deodorant over $6, and Tresemme shampoo $8. Oh my gosh, no thank you. So what did I walk out of Dollar General with? This pumice stone for my feet from the dollar section. That was it. I wear my flip flops a lot in the summer and I wear them down here in the winter because it's warm, and I don't go get pedicures. I do this myself. So that's all I bought. Now, would I do this in Kansas? Would I just go and like buy one little tiny thing and leave? Probably not, because I have an hour each way into the city to shop. So I would study those flyers. I would make sure there were deals worth my trip into town that I was already going to plan to purchase before I ever made that trip. Now, down here, I'm less than 2 miles from the flea market, from the grocery store. So I can take the time, it hardly takes any gas, to walk around and look for some deals and then come back and not spend hardly anything, and it didn't matter. But I'm really careful watching my pennies, dimes, and nickels because I'm early retired. I don't have a pension, I don't have Social Security, and my first check of the month comes around the 20th for any income that I have. So I'm very careful how I spend my money, and I make better choices rather than just grabbing some of the things I've always grabbed. I look very carefully as to, is there something else I can grab? Is there something else that makes more sense? For me, I don't care for ground turkey. My husband doesn't particularly care for it either. But I do like ground pork, and it's another cost effective choice. So we've switched to that rather than hamburger in most everything that we're making. That may not work for you. Ground chicken has even almost priced us right out of the market. So we have to change the way we cook, the way we shop, the way we think about shopping. So many times we just rush in and grab what we think we need without putting a lot of thought into our shopping. And for me, since I'm on a low income, I have to put a lot of thought into how I spend every dollar that I have so that I have the things I need, so that I can live comfortably, and so I can have extra money to do the things I want to do. So we have to adapt to where we live. We have to shop slow, and we have to make the better choice. Red potatoes, whether they are the tiny ones that we all love or the bigger ones, they're always going to be more expensive than Idaho potatoes. Those strawberries at the farmer's market were only $1. But two of the packages I picked up had molded strawberries in the middle because they'd been sitting out in the heat already for 3 hours by the time I got there at 11 o'clock. So sometimes picking the frozen strawberries in the freezer section is a better choice than picking the fresh, depending on what we're going to do with them. Frozen strawberries are great for ice cream. They are great for smoothies. They're even good for strawberry shortcake. I never used to buy frozen fruit, but I do now. I've had to change some of the ways that I shop. And just like that orange juice, I've had to start thinking, is there another option that I'm just not thinking of right now? So the fresh isn't an option, it's too expensive. Is the shelf stable an option? Is a different flavor like citrus an option? Is getting the frozen orange juice concentrate an option? We have to think about all those different options rather than just going and grabbing what we always grab and putting it in our cart. They know what we grab. They know what are the most common popular items, and all of those items are going up. Yes, we are seeing eggs go down. That's great. I've seen gas go down. That's great. But not everything is going to be at our price point for our income. So we have to make those choices based on our household, based on our household size. And for me right now, living in the RV, I'm having to make some different choices than if I was living in my own house. For instance, I can't make that frozen orange juice and fit it into my tiny little refrigerator here. I have my milk in the one section with my creamer. That's all that fits there. My shelves are cut in an L shape to just hold those there when you drive so they don't fall over. So I have to make choices that I wouldn't normally make at home. And we all have to do those kinds of things to make our dollars stretch until we get paid again. So I hope that this video has been helpful, maybe given you some ideas on how you shop, some of the things that you automatically grab, and maybe have you pause next time to think, is there another option that would make more sense for me, that would save me a little bit of money when I need it so badly right now? Give me a thumbs up. I hope to see you in the next video. And as always, I appreciate the time that you spend with me.